Good evening, everybody. It is 19:59, 8 o'clock. A couple of minutes to 8 o'clock. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Where's the week gone? How are we here again? Like, the weeks just go by so fast, don't they? Crazy. So this week, I don't even know how it came along. Yes, I do. Someone last week said something about doing a frog. And I looked at frogs and they're quite tricky because of the way they sit up. It's quite a structured thing. So I had a look at our friend the toad, who is much, how do we say it politely? He's not quite so svelte, is he? He's a bit more rotund, and therefore he sits more squishy, and we stand a chance of doing it in cake. So this is the guy I picked. Ooh, my pieces of paper always go. Yeah, so let me just grab these names before they go. I missed the first couple because I was waffling already. So hello, Sarah, Pauline, Lisa, Karen, Jan, Carolyn, Danielle, Serena. Oh, heck. Right, how am I get from Croatia? So Liziana, is that right? Tricky names. Sorry, guys, do my best. Hello. Oh, hello. What are we doing? Let's do that. StreamYard. Don't do that. Jane, Laura, Donna, Kerry, Vicky. Jane has just realised she's a toad. Yeah, if you have a look at pictures, so when you guys are doing lessons for me, I've got to work out what's possible in an hour and what needs structure. And unfortunately, I can't see a way of doing a frog without structure because they sit on an angle like that, whereas our chunky little toad guy is just a bit more. Look, his whole belly's on the floor, a bit like the rest of us. So that's cool. So, what I have got here, you ready? Are you ready for this? You want to just die a shock. This is a 6-inch cake. Get that? We're not on an 8-inch cake. We've rolled it right down to a 6-inch cake. Good evening, Carol. 2 Carols together. I do like it when you guys post together. It's brilliant. I just say hello to the Carols. 6-inch cake, because frogs and toads are tiny, aren't they? So come on, we may as well do it. And there's minimal sculpting. We'll spend more of our time trying to make dratty little lumps and bumps. Oh, good evening, Maria. How are you doing? Oh, so Karen is asking me, where did you buy your tools from? They're just Amazon. I just buy them from Amazon. The god of all things that is Amazon, or the death of all things, depending on which side of that fence you're on. They're called Sculpt tools. You used to have to get them shipped from America, but they seem to have caught on a bit more, probably because I keep telling everybody about them. But it's all my fault. So, hello, Lynn. Oh yeah, Liz. I meaning to explain my thing, and also I'm trying to film a new tutorial, right? So I'm filming a Jaguar at the moment. So my damaged finger is in mine because it's in the Jaguar on the tutorial as well. I was trying to cut off the horse from his structure so that I could show everyone in the horse group how I'd made the structure, and I was holding on to the structure and trying to like cut the cake off, and I managed to cut right across my hand as well. So, but it's all right. My finger's still there, so it's all good. Could be a lot worse, but yes, I've now got an injury. I wouldn't normally bother, but I don't think you want it oozing all over the cake, so that's why I wrapped it up in microfoil, because we don't. So 6-inch cake, is that a man 6-inch or a lady 6-inch? Nick. Oh dear, right. Yeah, I might regret it. minutes. Give me 2 minutes, okay? I'm going to change network. Just give me 2 minutes. If I go, I'll just come back again, okay? So just hang on. It's not giving me a chance. Right, I'm just going to change networks, okay? If I disappear, I'll come back. Bear with. Right, okay, tell me if I'm back. Tell me if I'm back. Just a second. Tell me if I'm back. I've changed networks. Am I back? I'm back. Have I got an echo? I'm now echoing on this stupid thing. But I'm back, right? I've changed networks. This is included in my 1 hour time. A minute. I have rebooted the system. I've changed back onto the other network. I'm back. I'm back. What's the song? She's back. She's back. Hello, everybody. Hello, Tiny. You didn't know I went away, did you? Yeah. Oh no, Tiny did. Right. Excellent. Fantastic. How's Turkey? Did I reply to you about your airbrush or not? I have this horrible feeling I didn't. Let me know if I didn't. Maybe I did. I don't know. I lose so lose track of all the comments and everything. I think I'm going to get a wriggle on and hope that the tech fairies stay with me. I don't think it's gone again. Oh, I can see me. I still look good. I didn't know. Right. Shut up, Hannah. Okay. Should we do this? Should we do this? All right. You stand up again. Laura broke her airbrush again. Laura broke her airbrush today. All right. Okay. Should we do this? So I put a bit of buttercream in the middle of this just to get it going. And then what we're going to do is we're going to narrow off his back end. So from above, you sort of got almost like a triangular shape. He goes narrow back and then we'll pop his legs on. And then he's basically just a chunk, isn't he? So this is just a 6-inch cake. I use my long knife because I've got to get it on my phone. And I'm just going to cut off this top edge. It's a miracle I don't lose more fingers on a more regular basis, really. I'll just put my bin up. But do you know what? I was thinking about doing this as a ball cake. I've got one of those 6-inch ball cake tins. Which I almost never use. But I was thinking that I reckon it'd work with it, you know. But then I wasn't sure whether other people would have that, so I thought I'd better not do it. Right. So did you see that? I'll show you, turn it around. So I've just cut off the two sides. Down that back legs will come in here, narrowed that down. And then I'm going to take some of this height off. He's too high at the minute. So I want to keep the shape, but I'm just going to get rid of some of the height. Just throw bits of cake. So I'm narrow at the back. If anyone's been doing sea turtles this week, I've just got Jane in my mind. It's quite a similar shape. And then we're going to slope him down because he slopes down towards the bottom. This cake, by the way, is about to war, which is why it's crumbling everywhere. Some days I'm really organised. Other days I put, what is it? I put the toothpaste in the fridge. Yeah, it's my whole life. So I'm just taking some of the weight off this. What I mean by that is the height. I think people leave too much cake on and then they get stuck. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I'm just narrowing around the back end. I'm leaving the front. I'm not touching the front at all at the minute because I need to get as much of that front. We start adding bits to it. If I was doing this in not an hour, I'd probably use ganache just because the way alright, I'm dancing. The way his face overhangs his body is slightly precarious. Now we've only got an hour tonight, so we're just going to wing it and see what happens. You might need to, if you just ganache it, you're going to be. And I've got a trans out here. So to pull a face out layer, which should leave us the top layer sticking out, which we can then sort of attach a bit more of a face onto. I'm just going to go under this camera. Okay. Ooh, heck. Right, so I'm just going to give him a bit of an undercut here. Now undercuts are a bit scary because obviously you go too far and the cake on top will collapse. But if it isn't, you're not trying hard enough. Okay, I'm just going to swap onto my small knife because that knife is just too big and ridiculous. Now his head is quite small. He's got this big rotund body and then quite a small compact head that sticks off the front. So let's carve in here. We will put his arms in separately, so we can just get rid of this bit. Let's carve in here. What we're trying to do is leave a head bit sticking out. And to do that, we have to carve back the rest of it. So his head isn't as wide as his body. So let's do that, and let's match it on the other side. This is disappearing into no. But if you made him in an 8-inch, he'd be enormous, wouldn't he? He'd be like massively. I'm not sure if it'd look completely weird. But you could make a giant oversized frog. Toad, whatever. I'm sure you can jump from this to a frog relatively easily. I just think you'll need a bit of support. So can you see I'm undercutting this bit? So now we have, look, can you see that? Now we've got a bit sticking up, sticking out the front, which we're going to turn into his little ready to miss. I'm on the small knife now, Jane. You don't have to worry about my fingers. It's the big knife that's slightly scary. Okay, so let's just check we've come back enough on there. Come back enough on there. That we've got a nice undercut here. And I'm happy enough with that. The rest of it's going to be built up. So that really is a very, very basic shape of him. So we'll whack a bit of buttercream on. I've got chocolate buttercream here for a reason. It will be explained later. And I'm just going to give him a bit of a crumb coat. And then we'll start building him up properly. I should just think momentarily. First time I've used chocolate buttercream on here, isn't it? I'm trying to do something so that we can do a board later. So I'll just put a crumb coat on. It's the bit you all enjoy watching. So literally all I did was narrow down the back, take some of the height off, and then undercut around the front just to give him a bit of a face sort of sticking out proud of the body that we can work from. It's a little bit of a gamble, this one. It's the first time I've done kind of undercutting and stuff, because obviously if you put too much on the front, the whole lot's going to collapse on us, which would be hilarious. So let's see what happens. Normally I have music on, you'll have to sing to me. I started listening to podcasts instead of music though. I can learn stuff Buttercream, buttercream. Oh, this is buttercream. If I was doing it in real time, or I'd got my arse in gear today, I would have probably made some ganache, because I think ganache probably for this one with the overhang, ganache would work better. But I like doing on the edge, it's fine. I'm just making sure that my head is coming clear of that body, else this is not going to work. Okay, so there's the buttercream. Back on it. Give myself some icing. Buttercream, 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 buttercream. All you're saying. Let's go try the space a bit without falling off. So I'll bring him around towards you. Hook. Body. I hope this works. La la la. Hannah should have done a practice run. To give it more of a. Let me just bring it around to you so you can see. The irony, Gemma, that you are trying to remember the song that you got stuck in your head, but you can't remember it, is silly. I had this song stuck in my head, but I can't remember what it is. Okay. Come on, you can do this. Right, now I'm going to create the top part. So we're hooking this round the onion bit of cake. Don't you start singing past quickly. Let's do this. I'm going to make this longer to try and help it pour. Keep chasing away from me. So what I'm doing here is I'm building up a head that is partly made of cake and partly made of paste over the top. Let's see if he's coming out enough. He is. Okay, let's put two little eyes in. Oh, hang on. I'm going to make those eyes smaller because I'm trying not to see. I've got one there. There's lots of different species of frog and toad and stuff, right? So I'm making something. Read it. What I need is this to stay on enough for me to be able to cover it. Okay, let's just put on the start of. Am I going to do that? I'll just put on this a little bit of shoulderage going on, and then we'll do the rest afterwards. Let's just give him something to base on. Well, let's go one there. Oh, I tell you, it's been an absolute pain tonight with sliding around on it. And we'll put another one. So the shoulders, elbows, shoulder. So let's put those in, and then we'll work on it. That one there. He's still got his underhang. It's still hanging in there. If it's worrying, We can always add a bit. Should we just give ourselves a bit more of a safety net? Maybe I've undercut a bit too much. Let's just pop that in there. So you will have a nice double chin supporting our cake a little bit more. Let me just show you. I know it looks a mess at the minute. You have to just bear with it. Things always do at this point. Let's put that in there. Just going to support him a bit more. All right. I'm going to go straight on and get it covered. Let's get it covered. That will secure it. If you do this in glass, I think you'll find that will sit quite nicely. Now, it's not much, is it? It's tiny cake. So, again. I hope you're talking to each other because I don't know what you're saying and I should just carry ignoring you. So all I did was build his face, put some little sticky up eye bits on, and the rest we'll do. Actually, what I'm going to do to help me out a bit, add more weight to his face, Hannah. That's a good idea. Let's just put on some little, bring it around to you. Put on some little bits around his, to give him outer bits of his eyes, otherwise we're going to get it stuck on. Right, let's make them. I never made it. Close up of injured finger. There, let's just do it. I'm not going to worry about it being neat either. This is where it'll all come to life beautifully. Yeah, look, I was thinking the same. You look, it's sort of like on. Oh, I've got this here. Catch in front of the camera, hang on. Come on, Froggy, you can do it. Turn into Froggy for me. Not a Froggy, turn into a toad. We don't want to turn into a Froggy. You can see why I was worried about doing them though, because they've got this big underhang on the frog. On the toad, they've got kind of like double chins, so it's sort of alright. And on the frog, they've got nothing, so it'd be really hard to do. I do love them though. I absolutely love poison dart frogs, so watch out for it. One day it'll probably turn up as a tutorial. So I know most of you here are already on the community group. It's absolutely buzzing at the moment. Loving the work that's been put up. Well done, everybody. If you're not, there's a link. This is where it just disappears into a massive nothingness. There's a link in the comments. I'm getting good at this stuff, and I put it on there before I started. So you can request to join, hang out with us. You don't have to be an expert. We go through the good, the bad, the ugly together. We do it all. We just aim for improvement. I have a horrible feeling this guy's going to turn out cute. Got a bit of a running theme with a cute thing. I'm not really into cute. Everything's turning cute. Maybe if you do everything in an hour, it comes out cute, and that's how it works. Right, so I'm just finding all the kind of the overhangy bits, face bits. Good evening, Marina. It looks like E.T. I'm just trying to sort out these legs here. Nothing. All right, I think I've got something. I don't know if it's a toad, but I've got something. Tonight we are making up animals. some ridges going down his back that I can see, so I'm just going to pinch those in. Right, let's cut this away and then see what's what. So we can go all the way around. We'll use all these offcuts to make the various rest of his limbs. Have you ever toed yet? Let's see what's going on here. So there's this big double chin. All right, tools. Let's start playing with some tools. There's my other tool. Go on, tidy him up. We started with the arms coming here, so let's just bring those back in. So there's the start of it. So I like putting the top ends of arms in underneath and then covering them, so you've then got them in place. You haven't got to stop trying to blend them in. This is his double chin, and then we've got his mouth line. Can you see this? I'm going to just turn it towards you. So yeah, Nikki, so there is no Sunday Night Live next Sunday. I will be up in Stockport teaching, and we will be, at this time of night, finished, having beautiful horse sculptures made. So if anyone wants to see me next Sunday and haven't already, you need to jump on the horse class, even if it's just about watching on the day, building your confidence, seeing how easily it is to stack up structures, and do another time. You don't have to have done it, like built the structure before the class. So that's next Sunday. I'll be up in Stockport, where they have all the proper gear and all the proper cameras and all the proper lights and internet that doesn't muck them about and stuff. So I will get there one day. That's pre-record all my tutorials, my proper tutorials. The paper ones are all pre-recorded so that I know that they will all run perfectly. And then we do group work, but that's different. It's these lives that can mess me around. Right, so I'm just building in his eyes now. Yeah, he's going to look cute, so we'll go with it. So let's get into his eyes. Really nice big froggy eyes. I'm obviously going through a cute phase. And a cute, is that an active? Yes, I'm here all night. Shh. Right, so we're going to put in afters like we always do. And then if we look in our pictures, he's just got these sort of rings around his eyes. So let's put those in. So I'm using my ball tools and I'm using the other end, which is like a chisel, but you can use other tools. You don't need to use these. Don't think that if you haven't got these tools, you can't do this. Just innovate, you know, work out what you've got at home. Work with what you've got. Let's put a couple of nostrils in. Let's do the other one. I'm just going to try and pull these up a bit so they're a little bit less round and a little bit more pointy. I'm trying to give him a bit more rather than. So I'm going to just leave that like that for now, and let's put on some forearms. Oh, there's lots of big messages there. Oh yeah, so that's cool. So they're chatting about horses. That's such a cool class. And yeah, Laura, if you look, you have to go back some time, but if you look back on going back down my work I did in Neon Horse, it looked amazing. I loved it. Right, so I'm going to bring out two legs here. So Round the camera. Ooh, helpful. But anyone who's not coming on the horse, I will be back the Sunday after. So we've already got the first part of the leg here. We know about that. It builds into his body. You just have a look at what's this thing. Builds into his body, starts here, comes back, and then the elbow stops, and it comes to 3 little points. Hang on, let me just put it there. You can see it. Can you see it there? Yeah. So 3. So 1, 2, and then we'll waggle them. They're going to end up being a lot thinner than I. So I'm going to make them too long and then cut them. Can you see that? Hang on. And let's just trim them off. They've got little sucky balls on the end, haven't they? By the looks of it, little sticky pads or something. So I'm just trying to leave the ends a bit fatter. Jane, how are you not more? Now I've got him riding a horse. That's not what I meant. Jane, message me. Actually, I think Nikki put the link. You'll love that class. It's a structured, right up your street. It's a bronze horse bust. You'll absolutely love it. Part of the sugar and beans ones. All right, can you see this? Da -da -da. Little froggy hand. I'm going to put it. They sit quite flat, don't they? So there we go. I made a funny little froggy hand. And we'll just hook it onto here. And I'm not too worried that there's a groove there, because there would be a groove there. If you look on your picture where it joins, there's an elbow groove. So let's do a second one of those. All right, so we're doing another little hand. I'm going to call it a paw then, but there's no way that toads have got paws. Whatever they've got, they've not paws. So let's just do another one. I think he's going to look quite all right, actually. I think we may have got away with this one. Cartoony, maybe. Actually, the realism might come with the texture. Get a reel on, Hannah. Okay, hang on. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm going to make this much thinner to start with. So, can you see? Where are you? 1, 2. Let's bring it up and stop. Oh, things I have to do for you lot. Can you see it? No, all I can see is your mortally wounded finger. Jane, come and join us on the horse. Come over to the dark side. I'm going to push the gap in between these because I think they're sort of more like that. I'm going to bring it around to you. I think that looks more froggy. Right, let's hook this one on. And again, they're sat flat. They're really awkward looking things, aren't they? Crikey. Sorry, Toadie. Don't mean to insult you. That's those two. Wait a minute. Let's just move it back and give you a bit more space. Okay, let's put in the 2 back legs now. Horse class Laura is Sunday. Girly. So back legs, going to need a bit more sugar paste here. Okay, so we can put the dubbing in. And so there's a lot you can do with this kind of stuff. I can't actually see, I suppose so. That's probably why the toes look wider. I can see the wheel of the back feet. So back legs, it's a big bend. Actually, I'm going to need a bit more paste. You need quite a lot of paste to get these legs, quite a lot of paste to get these back legs going. I'm just getting my sausage going before I bring it onto the screen. So I've got to get this right in my head first. So, and they come to a point, I know that much, they meet, don't they? So again, I'm not going to worry too much about blending, because by the time we put all these nubbles on, it really won't matter. So we're going to do them so they're going to sort of kiss in the middle. And then all I can see on my picture, and if I can't see it on my picture, it doesn't exist, is, well, I guess kind of two toes. So I've got one sort of there coming out. And then the rest is jammed into underneath his body. This feels too fat, so hang on. I'm just pulling his leg apart. It's fine. Didn't need that anyway. So I'm just squishing this down. Sorry, I've run off the camera again. And then I can see some sort of line going on here. Some sort of line, and then this one's just coming out here. And let's make sure we've got the nice grooves here so that we know that there's a curve on his body. So that's one. And then we go around and do the other one. Exactly the same. You know what? There's more paste on this than there is cake. By the time we got his back legs in. That's another reason not to be on an 8-inch cake. Use a heck of a lot of sugar paste, isn't it? So let's just quickly put the other back leg. Having seen that, I'm going to just move it forward a little bit. Put it together. Because this one's in reverse, isn't it? So you've got to think about your brain going the other way again. That way. So pick it here. Into that point there, and then let's see where I stopped that one. Let's get this off here. Thin it down. Let's cut that one toe that I can see. And again, let's get rid of some of the length of this one. Yeah. Remember, these are just little markabouts, so they give you sort of your main framework in. You can then go have a look at various pictures and match them through. This sort of just gives you your start of the tent. That's the idea of them anyway. Takes the kind of the unknown bit out, and then you can build it. So let's turn him around and have a look. Hello, Foggy. What I like is you've got this nice sort of bulbous bit coming out here. Sorry, calling you a Froggy and you're a toady. That's terrible. Let's just build up behind his eye sockets. Poking them in. Oh, Laura, you are funny. Okay, so let's see. Texture. Outy, not any texture, which is a real pain. So the way I'm going to try and crack it is by using various piping tips. So I've got a few here. I haven't done this before, so you know, yeah. So let's see what happens. Narrow his head down a little bit. So if I poke in a few holes, I'll do a few up here so you can easily see. we poke holes, and then if we got our middle ball tool and you go around them, wiggle out and leave dents around them, which should then end up the various different textures on him. Can you see that? Do quite a few of those. And then if you look at your picture, there are lots of different nodules and bumps and different size ones. So these will just create scales. You have to go on your ball tools and go round them in order to, drop down the skin round them, which will bring them out as more bumps. I'm not sure I've explained that very well, but hopefully you can see. So you're going round them all, which will bring them out into bumps. Yeah, let's do a really detailed textured animal in an hour. It's a good idea. See you later, Christine. Let's do the same. So this is a much smaller piping tip. I'm going to do this at speed, okay, because otherwise we'll all be here all night. But you certainly get the idea of what you need to do. I like my big one. Obviously, the more you push in, the deeper those are going to get. And the same when you're working around them with your ball tool. So I think probably the best way to make this look really effective is go with sort of 3 or 4 different size hole making things. By going around each circle, I'm making the circle stick out and his skin drop back behind it. If you go around with a big ball tool, obviously you'll create much bigger dents. If you go around with a tiny ball tool, you'll create much smaller ones. You can just do it on its own. You don't actually need to do holes. If you want to make specific, if you look at him, like some of them, it's just the like big warty bit. So you can just make that on its own. You don't even have to use your piping tips to get it going. You can just roll around with the ball tool and you'll make like a big wart. There we go, a wart there. And a wart there. But don't do too many of those. You want a kind of combination. Texture looks good with a combination of effects. So if I've got to texture something, I'll sit there and I've got cling film and tin foil and squeegees and rubber things and all sorts going on, trying to get that myriad of textures going. So we can do some dots as well, where you just push in. That will just take the texture in. 10 hours later. At least this is one of those cakes that you don't have to be neat about, you know? You don't have to spend ages like smoothing it out. What's that funny on proper class, you know, those weird things we used to do where people would come and breathe in the same space, that people would get so upset and they'd you know, that they couldn't get their cake perfectly covered and that it wasn't completely smooth. I'm like, but dude, you're making a wolf. We're going to like texture the heck out of it. Why do you care? Why do you want it really smooth before you're going to texture it? So yeah, loosen up. This is supposed to be art. It's supposed to be fun. All right, we're getting somewhere. I'm just going to make his chin really, really textured. Ready. Brush his mouth up a little bit. Sorry for being. So I'm doing the combination. Just rolling my ball in circles, going around over those circles that I made. I did say I spend most of my time doing this. Look, his face is supporting quite nicely actually. It's not doing too bad. Even safer, say if you're happy using ganache, on this one I'd use ganache because then you know his head's going to be really well supported. Right, speeding up. This is speed mode. Body, toady. Just brush him in a bit. I'm just trying to create some texture here so that it's not too naked. See, it looks weird when they're all the same. You have to go in and tool. You have to go in and create some. Well, the idea is to push the sugar paste back, which will leave you areas sitting proud. Again, if you had lots of time on this, you could ball up little bits of sugar paste and put those on top. So you could create a third layer. So we've got the 2 layers, but if you went in and probably with a bit of water on it, started sticking them. Why did I have to start that? A little bit of water, started sticking in, and then balled around. You're going to create another texture as well, aren't you? Another layer. So you could do something like this. That looks quite cool, doesn't it? Can you see that? Oh, now he's got like proper pimples. Ah. I'll do a couple of those. They look cool. And then you can carry on and do loads of them, can't you? Get on. So again, if you're doing them, make sure you use your ball tool to kind of blend them in. So you've got a combination. Texture looks best when you do a combination of things. Oops. Get in. All right, a couple more minutes just to fill in a little bit more. You will have to do this properly if you're doing it because your airbrush will bust you if you don't. It will say, "Oh, you didn't do any texture here," and I can see it. I'm just his eyes out a little bit. Because one is bigger than the other, helpfully. Oh, wrong one. You'd be amazed what you can do with the stuff in your toolkit. Everything can be repurposed into something else. Okay, let's just do a quick work around with some of these just to get the shapes different. And then I think we'll get on the airbrush. Let's see what's going. Yeah, nice. That's what I thought. They really do look like whiteheads. Oh dear. Well, they won't do. They'll be vaguely browny green heads, won't they? So it'll be fine. Are you done, Cody? Just having a quick bash up of some textures. Again, you never guess this was a 6-inch cake, you know. Let's put it back. Oh, hello. Are you still there? You're alright, are you? My camera wants to install something. My phone wants to install something, hopefully. Deb hasn't done a cake in a long time. Yeah, but Deb had your hands full with them new little pottery girls. So it doesn't surprise me. To be honest, I think all of us are struggling with this latest lockdown. It's very hard to be creative when the world is upside down. But useful if you can, because I tell you what, it'll improve your mood massively. Alright, I'm just poking his nose again. Okay. Oh, he looks a bit weird, doesn't he? Right. Should we colour him up? We do need to spend more time than that doing the, like I haven't done the back of him. Just randomly throwing in a bit of texture around here. The other one. I'm just having a tweak because obviously once the airbrush goes on, we're done. We've got nothing else we can do. Just narrowing his mouth down. Because he's got a big mouth. Okay, airbrush. So we'll go on with the autumn leaf to get the kind of the unglow going, and then we will apply brown to go over the top. So I've got Sugar Flare, Autumn Gold. I'm just going to do it from the seat of the... So I'm going to get all over him with this. I just think it's amazing how much you can't see the colour. Like, he looks really, really sort of yellowy to me in real life. And if I look on that camera there, he still looks white. So it's quite tricky for me to airbrush these on camera because what I'm seeing and what you see don't match. So let's go all over with that. And then I'm going to put some autumn gold in and chase in a little bit of brown. I have to put autumn gold in with my brown because I've got a fractal brown at the moment and it's really dark. It's got loads and loads of purple in it. So the autumn gold just takes some of the bluey purpleness out. Right, so I need to leave this bit. His sort of belly and his under chin. I'm going to try and leave that a little bit more yellow, but I can come in and darken up the rest of him. We do a bit of an all over. Get him going. Try and leave his belly a little bit. So the top of his mouth is brown, the bottom of his mouth is yellow. Again, come in here. Try and get into those little webbies. Right, I've got some patterning going on here, so I'm going to get in really close. Which I can do quite easily on my gun. It's going to sort of depend what gun you have as to whether you can, how much patterning you can get in. Now, at the moment, it's too brown. It needs to be much more of a sludgy, greeny brown. We started off like that. And then if I start using the natural powers of the black to throw... Ooh, that was quite a lot of black one in there. Hang on. That might have been too much. Yeah, hang on. I'm going to just tip some of that out because I put in a lot of black, but I didn't mean to. No, I'm making a mess. I've got a green here, fractal green as well, which I haven't used. So I want to try and make a sludgy, greeny. Watch me get that everywhere. Sludgy, greeny brown. Note to self: take lids off before you do this. I'm going to just bin off all this black because it's too much. It was only supposed to be a drop. I'm going to put the brown back in, and I'm going to put a bit of green back in and try and make it a bit more of a sludgy green. It's not kind of like frog green, but we want to give it a bit of life, don't we? Let's see what this is doing. Yeah, there we go. So let's just run a little bit. Yeah, just a kind of a bit of sludge. We can always back it up again and go back to the brown. Again, the closer I get. Okay, so I'm just going to chase that down now with my brown. Far too much paint in here, but never mind. Okay, so now we're going back to the details. So I'm coming around his eyes. I want to block his mouth. Donna, get the airbrush out. It's going to help nobody in its packaging. Get it out. That is your challenge for this week. Get the airbrush out and airbrush something. The reason I'm going along here is because I want a really quite a strong line in between where the mouth is brown and the yellow is underneath. Ooh, throw in the airbrush colour. My green in, I can just go over with my brown and properly give it a bit of shading. I need to slow down. A little bit of shading where I would be at the bottom. So shading as well as this colour. No, it's quite sweet really. Oops, got me. Let's just do some slightly darker lines down there, slightly darker lines down there. All right. Let's take that out. Oh, I've got a lot of paint in that cut. Right, there we go. So that was airbrushed up. So now, very quickly, let's pop some eyes in. I've got a very wet froggy here. Hang on a second. Let me just grab colours and stuff. And my water. Right, so a bit of water. Oh, it's so weird when you turn the airbrush off. We're giving froggy eyes, toady eyes. So let's put that in. So we'll let them stick out a little bit, whereas I normally hound people about that sort of thing. We will let them stick out a little bit because they're toads. Toads and frogs definitely have sticky out eyes, don't they? I've got one really sticking out and one not so sticking out. What do we prefer? So yeah, really sticking out. Oh, no. Halfway. Okay, and then just do a little bit of leaves. Can you see him? He's quite cute. Just going to paint his eyes in. I've got one like that. This one's still sticking out too much. Sorry, it's getting the better of me. Wait a minute. The advantage of only taking 1 hour to do your cake, you can still mess around with the icing. Okay, let's try that again. So yeah, you'd never be able to do this with the frog shape because it would collapse on you. But you can do it with your toad. And then I'm just going to literally pop a little bit of black across their eyes go a different way. One that way. One that way. Cool. So the reason why, right, let me just see, Terry. We've named him Terry, okay. Oh, okay, cat, my Mr. Toad is amazing. My cat left me a toad. Yeah, not nice. We got. Oh, what's that, Angie? I have 5 Hannah tutorials and an airbrush bought in July for and have not used it yet or done the tutorials. Angie, do we need to have a word? What's that? What's going on? Right. Using the buttercream we made earlier. Let's just make him a sludgy, muddy puddle to play in. Oh dear. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? Could have made him a nice, beautiful pond, you know, but no, I'm making him a sludgy, muddy puddle. There is method to my madness. We'll just give me a minute to see it. So, if you want to make things look wet, you have to use a spray glaze. If you want to muck about with anything like piping gel on airbrush, you have to seal your airbrush first. A really big important thing. You start putting piping gel on things that have got airbrush that's sealed, then the piping gel will pull off the airbrush. So if I, oh, it smells amazing. I could just lick it. So if I just pop in, I can't get into that space. I brought backup in the form of skewers in case his head starts to fall off. Oh, that's not working. Go on, get in there. So, but we didn't need it. But there we go, use it there. Sludge. Right, okay. Yes, we go. So, spray glaze. Close your eyes, Froggy. where it gets my camera, my phone, everything else, the whole room. Okay, so that's on there. Makes them look all shiny. And then if you get some piping gel, again, you normally should wait for this all to dry. And we put piping gel on him. You can really make him look like proper slimy and lovely. Just like a proper wet paint. You have to seal it first though, or it won't work. And then we can put it over our mud too. Look at the mess. Obviously, if you wanted to do blue or dark blue or sort of green, you can make anything. You can make him on any kind of water. I was just mucking around with what I could do as quickly as possible. So there we go. Let me bring him back round to you. You can see him up close. There we go. Froggy. Actually, in less than an hour because the internet was already stuck. Froggy, all the way through. Toad, Mr. Toad, in an hour, complete with muddy base, nice eyes, and looking cool. You see him? Angie, I'm going to get your case now and sort you out. Right, were there any questions other than hassling poor Angie? We'll get there, Angie, don't worry. I'll sort you out, we'll get there. Right, there we go. So that's a Toad an hour from a 6-inch cake, so even tinier than normal. It actually looks really cool. I can't quite get the full effect on the camera because it's quite close up. But I think that worked quite well actually. So the only scary bit was to start with was getting his face, like whether his face would fall off. But if you did this properly in your time and you used ganache and put the face on, I think it would be a lot less scary and a lot easier. I'm pleased with him. I think his texture looks lovely actually. His texture looks really, really nice. So I'll take a couple of photos and I'll put it on. Thanks for bearing with me as I struggle with my internet again. Next week I'll be up at the fabulous Sugar and Crumbs teaching sculpted horses, horse bus, all structured, anti-gravity, and then bronze. So really, really nice. Oh, sorry, Lisa, I didn't see the question. It was running up too high. Airbrush glaze. I personally have never put glaze through an airbrush because I know what glaze does when it gets on my phone and it gets on my table and it gets everywhere else. I can't get it off. It stays there forever and you end up with sort of nail varnish remover trying to get it off. So the idea that you would put that through an airbrush terrifies me because what happens if it clogs up your gun? So I prefer it in the can form where I know I've got it under control and I can just use it. Having said that, it's actually blooming hard to get hold of this stuff. I've been trying for months and I ended up having to buy 6. It cost me 40 quid to buy 6 of them. And that was the only way I could get it. Everything else was out of order, out of stock, all that kind of thing. So I had to buy 6. So Elaine, you're not going to miss out next Sunday. You're going to come and play horses with us. Come on, you know you're coming. So just stop pretending and let's join. Come play. Even if you come and watch and then see that it's a lot easier than it looks. So, right. Guys and girls, thank you very much for joining me on this craziness. I will see you in 2 weeks' time.